Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to our first RESH 180 class of the year. My name is Luis Velasquez, and I'm going to be one of your instructors. And I just want to welcome you as whether it's your first time or whether you've been here before and been in class. If you don't know what RESH means and you're wondering what the heck, what type of name is that? RESH stands for Rising Expectations, Standards, and Honor. And the 180 just stands for making a complete or making a turnaround. All right. And I know this whole year has just been off. There's something different about this new school year and coming to you. We miss you. We miss not being there in person, but we are still excited for what this class brings. Let me tell you what RESH is about and why this class is different. You see, you go to math, you go to English, you go to science, and you learn about these different subjects. But what this class has to bring is that it teaches you about you. We're here to help you discover your purpose. We're here to help you know more about yourself, why you do the things that you do, and why you tick the way that you do. All right. And so that's what this class brings. And we're excited to come alongside of you and help you be able to think critically about some of the things that happen in life.
Look, smart water on my rider, yeah, I got a hard product. I ain't selling narcotics, just bought.
In this class, we believe in the power of stories, and we believe that every single one of us and every single one of you has a story, and it's a way for us to be able to relate and connect with each other. And I want to share a little bit more about my story and how I was raised and how I got here. And originally, I was born in San Luis Potosí, Mexico. Actually, I just found out it wasn't San Luis Potosí. It's actually a smaller town called San Juan, but I'm from San Luis Potosí. And came here when I was 4 years old and came here with a visa, a 10-year visa with my mom, my dad, and my two younger brothers. And man, I got the whole, like the birthmark, everything. I love the fact that I'm Mexican. I love my culture, the tortas, the tacos, everything about it. And lately, people have been trying to get me to go plant-based, but I was like, nah, I can't let go of the food, of the culture, you know what I'm saying? And so, came here when I was 4 years old with my family. We lived in Irving and eventually came over to Louisville, where I spent my time in middle school years, high school years there. Graduated from Louisville High School in 2009. And one of the craziest things that impacted my life was when I was 16, 17 years old, I found out that I was undocumented. And so we came here with a visa and it ran out when I was about 15, and found out when it came time to apply for colleges that I was considered an undocumented immigrant, right? And to me, that was a big shock because all I've known was growing up here in America. Like, this is the only country that I really knew. The last time I was in Mexico, I was 8 years old. And so for me to know that I was just in this weird place where I felt like I didn't belong anywhere, and to know that, even if I go to college, as I was approaching my senior year, and we're talking about scholarships, applications. It was just began to be this fear and this uncertainty of the future, because I was like, well, what's the point of me going to college if I can't even get a job? Or what's the point of me going to college if I can't even really apply for scholarships or money? Like, all these fears going through my head. And it was one of the biggest things that shook me. And around that time, I was also somebody that wasn't very motivated for a lot. I felt like I was going through the motions. I was chilling, playing Madden, whatever you call it, just video games, and didn't really have a drive for a lot of things. And you add this thing of now being knowing that I'm undocumented and this uncertainty for my future, it just really shook me, and it had me in a weird place. And I had, with the support of my family, I still continued to go to school. I went to North Lake and eventually transferred over to UT Arlington. And a lot of the expenses early on were out of pocket, but when I transferred to UT Arlington, something amazing happened where even for me being considered an undocumented immigrant at the time, and at that point, I was able to apply for DACA and as a deferred action, right? And I was able to be accepted into that. So it gave me hope for the future. But I also still had this debt. I had to figure out how to pay for school. I had to figure out how to come up with like over $10,000, and nobody's really rolling around with that type of money, at least where I come from, right? I'm not one that comes from a family of money, so it was difficult. but somehow, some way, a scholarship, a grant came through that was able to pay for my 2 years of being at UT Arlington. That when I graduated with my bachelor's in marketing, and I graduated with no student loans, with no student debt. And that was something to me that I didn't realize how powerful that was, that for somebody to be like me, to come from Mexico, to be considered undocumented, to graduate with no college debt, like that's something that I'm grateful to God for, because I don't know how else it would have happened. But it was a combination that, for me to get through that season, it was a combination of my family, my friends and leaders, and the support system around me. Because at that time, I felt like I had nowhere to go. I felt like I had no purpose. I didn't know who I was, but it was because of my leaders. It was because of my family and my friends and them caring for me and loving me that I was able to discover what that purpose was, and I was able to learn more about myself. And that's why I love this class so much, because we all need a support system. We all need leaders in our lives that can help us see something in us that we can't see in ourselves. And for me, I realized that discovering my purpose wasn't an end destination, but that it was a lifelong journey. Right? Like, you don't just discover your purpose and figure it out. Like, no, you're constantly going to be figuring it out. You're going to have a different purpose when you move on in different stages in life, whether that's going into college or one day getting married or one day having a family. You discover more about yourself. And what I love about this class and what we're going to get into is that you'll learn tools and you'll discover more about who you are. And we're going to be getting into that here in just a second. But as we go throughout the semester, you're going to be hearing more about my story as well as other instructors' story as we move along.
Look, smart water on my rider, yeah, I got a hard product. I ain't selling narcotic, just bars with a lot of purpose for those who hurting. My flow offer something certain for those who thirsting. It's cold water. I love you. Blessing on my enemies. When it's beef, let us eat. If I send shells, they all fill with ricotta. When Bobby bullshit and words say oh shit bye-bye, then we break bread like the chala. I love you. Life goes, hit somebody with a real stunner. If it doesn't happen before I go, that's a real bummer.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Mari Rubio, in the house. What's up? I miss you guys so much, and I am bummed that I don't get to be there physically. But just like everybody's had to adjust, I had to adjust as well. And so we will make the best out of the situation. Some of you don't know who I am. Again, my name is Mari. Maybe you had me as a facilitator, but I also coordinate the entire program. And so you'll be seeing a lot of me along with some of my friends that are also going to be teaching this RESH 180 program with me. So I know some of you are at home and some of you are in the classroom. So jealous, so jealous. But either way, wherever you're at, the one thing I'm gonna ask of you, the very one thing I need you to do is to stay connected, to be all in. This is actually a challenge for you right now, that you don't check out, you don't get on your cell phone, you don't take off. I mean, we have put in a lot of time, a lot of creativity to create the first ever virtual class for RESH 180. In 20 years, you're the first. You're the first to experience this. And so I'm asking you to be all in. Every other week when we come together, be here. I want to hear from you. I want to get to know you. I want to read your comments. I mean, we are going to get real creative. And I know that this is a crazy time. I mean, let's be honest. Some of y'all never came back from spring break, and then you went to summer. You're still in Florida. You wish. Anyway, some we never got back. Summer happened, and it didn't even feel like summer break, right? You never got back. You were never able to come back and say thank you to your teacher that you absolutely love. Come on, there's one. There's at least one. And right now, I want to share my story during this quarantine time.
Look, smart water on my rider, yeah, I got a hard product. I ain't selling narcotic, just ball.
if I can be honest, if I can be real, if you'll let me, and be a little vulnerable right now with you, this time was horrific, if I'm being honest. Can I say suck? I don't know if I could say that, but it did. It was not cool. I'm the kind of person that needs to be around people, hug people, high five, laugh with, hang out, come over. I mean, if you know me and if you've ever been around me, you know I love people. And even more, I love young people. It's my passion. I love working with youth. It's what we do. And so it was a really difficult time for me to not be able to see my friends, hug my friends, hang out, and just do life. At first, like, it was cool. At first, it was like, hey, we get to sleep in. Woohoo! I don't have to take the kids to school. Yeah! I was looking on the news. Oh, there's no school tomorrow. Oh, there's no school tomorrow again. At first. And then it got real. Then it was again, and it just felt like Groundhog Day, where it just was the same thing over and over. And I actually got into a little bit of a depression. I got a little bit bummed. I felt like I wasn't being productive and there was no purpose. Like, here I am teaching about purpose and have this incredible curriculum, and I am in a funk. I'm stuck. I don't know how to get out of it, but it had to end. I had to get myself together. And you know what I did? One of the things that I actually did was open up some of the journals that I still have from y'all that I got to bring home, the last day that we had RESH. And so I started looking through those, and it was that very thing that gave me life. It was that very thing that kind of inspired me again to spark up that fire inside of me, because this is a temporary season. It's not forever. It's new to us. It feels like forever, but it's not forever. And so I had to stop having a pity party and get myself together and start refocusing and thinking about life. And all of a sudden, I felt the more I thought about what we were going to be doing, how we were going to change things up, what kind of conversations were we going to have with all the craziness going on in our community, elections, home, quarantine, pandemic. Maybe you've had a loved one get sick or pass away. I mean, we are living in some crazy times. And for that reason alone, for that very reason right there, we need to talk about you. Like Luis mentioned about getting this class being about learning about yourself. That's exactly what this is going to be about. We get to talk about you. We get to talk about me. We get to talk about us and how life comes at us. But in the end, no matter what happens, we have a purpose. You might even be wondering, what is purpose? What does that even mean? I hear about the word purpose, left and right, but what does it mean? Purpose is what you were born to do, what you were born to do. But purpose is not a destination. It's not like you get there and you're like, okay, good, done. Let me live the rest of my life. Purpose is you have purpose in every day and in every minute of the day. It's not a destination that you arrive and you're completed. A lot of people mistake that with your career, what you're gonna do for a living, but it's not the same thing. Purpose is in every moment, in every day, and it's what you were born to do.
Look, smart water on my rider, yeah, I got a hard product. I ain't selling narcotics, just bought.
I think one of the cool things that has come out of this whole pandemic are the incredible stories that are rising up, that are coming up of kids starting businesses, adults creating things for the very first time. Because when you use your imagination and when you don't have life beating you up with all the problems and everything coming at you, you're able to kind of dream again and to think about life again. And if you're not doing that, or you haven't done that yet, because you're scrolling through other people's lives on social media, seeing what's more important, I challenge you and I encourage you to disconnect from all of that and to begin to dream again. There's something inside of you that you're created with, and that is purpose. And it could be dormant, it could be asleep, and we have to find a way to bring that to life. We have to find a way, just like I had to wake it up inside of me again. It's a continual thing that we have to do. We've seen these stories coming out left and right of people tapping into purpose, and then because they did that, they created something new that wasn't planned, that they didn't expect, but all of a sudden they're monetizing off of this stuff. One example of that, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of Emmanuel Acho. He is a former Eagles football player, NFL player, has gone to college, has a couple of degrees actually, and it was in this season, it wasn't NFL football, it wasn't his college degrees, it was in this season that when he tapped into his purpose, something great has come of his life. And what I want to share with you is he is an incredible, smart, young African-American who is obviously very talented athletic-wise, but also has, just really taps into his mindset, his mind, and who he is. And so he created, during this time of quarantine, he started to have just conversations, asking people things, asking others to ask him any questions. And he called this segment Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, okay? Uncomfortable conversations. Like, let's just talk about what's really going on. Let's just talk about police brutality. Let's talk about George Floyd. Let's talk about the injustice in our country. And he just began these conversations. And he didn't think anything of it. He thought he'd put out a post and it would be the end of that. But instead, that post had 30 million hits. 30 million. 30 million people listening to what he had to say. Like, that's crazy. He is working on writing a book, but not just writing a book like, oh, whatever, I'm writing a book. He has Oprah Winfrey, yes, the Oprah, which I love. He has Oprah Winfrey backing him up. Like, doing interviews on Apple TV and with her and other people. I mean, it's incredible. But that's exactly what purpose is. It's just tapping into something you're passionate about. He was passionate about educating his friends, his white friends, and his Black friends. And it turned into purpose.
Look, smart water on my rider, yeah, I got a hard product. I ain't selling narcotic, just bought.
That's the whole goal of the RESH 180 program. You're gonna hear that word a lot, so get comfortable with it. I don't want you to feel like, oh, we're gonna talk about the same thing again. It's not like that, trust me. I definitely want to drill that word into you because why? I believe that you have purpose. I know you have purpose. I know that you are created with something inside of you that only you, no one else, not a teacher, not a parent, not a friend, can pull out of you, but you. And so if you come on this ride with me and you take this class serious, just like you do every other class, or maybe you don't, let's start right now, and take this class serious so that we can tap in to what you're great at. Maybe nobody's ever told you that you have purpose. This might be the first time you've ever heard that you have purpose. I don't know what your story is. I don't care what your background is. I just know that you have purpose. And so for the next few weeks in the RESH 180 program, we are going to be having different conversations, but we are here to serve you. We are here to make you be the best version of yourself. We are here to challenge you. We are here to move forward and do this together, okay? And you know what? I might even drop off a couple gifts in your class. We'll see. I don't know. But what I do know is we're going to do this right and live purposefully, all right? So don't check out, stick with me, and I'll see you in a few more weeks. Mwah.
Loved by many, secretly loved by more. Opportunity was late, so I went to its door. I love you.
Hey everybody, it's Tim. I may know you from school, face-to-face in class. Maybe I've never met you before, but I'm one of the facilitators as well. I want to ask you a specific question. I want to compare two different mindsets, and I want you to think which one is you, okay? Imagine this for a second. You're going to spring break last spring, and on the way back you realize there is no coming back. And you're at home for the rest of the spring, rest of the school year, and you feel like something was taken from you. And you really wanted to go back to school. You wanted to finish the school year out, and it didn't happen. And now that here we are in the fall, and there's a chance for you to get back in class, you're taking a little bit of risk, but you're going back to class. You're going back to school because you want a second chance. You want to get back to school. You want to experience everything that school gave you and that way you can give back, and you took that opportunity. And maybe that's why you're at school. And maybe that's your mindset. So think about that. But then there's another mindset, and maybe this is you. Maybe after spring you felt cheated, and that, yeah, we couldn't go back to school. It was a long summer break and everything's kind of, slow and everything. And now that you're back, it's not what you thought. Now that we're back to the fall, you feel robbed. Like, this isn't what I signed up for. I don't want to do school looking at a screen. I don't want to do school where everybody's got masks on and I don't get to see expressions, or I don't get to interact with my friends like I wanted to and all that. And you feel cheated. You feel like this isn't fair. Maybe you have one of those two mindsets. You know that it's challenging, but you're going to go for it. This is a second chance to be at school. I'm not going to stay at home. I'm going to go and take the risk, maybe a little bit of health risk, and I'm going to go to school. Or maybe you think the other way. I'd rather just stay at home. I don't even want this isn't what I wanted. Those are two pretty different mindsets, but they both could be you. And I want you just for a second to look at your life and think about those two state of minds. And then I want you to journal for a little bit. Journaling, normally in class, we have handwritten journals, but now everybody has a device. I want you guys to journal by typing your entry and just put your thoughts down. What are you feeling these days? Are you upset? Are you depressed? Do you feel anxiety? Do you wish it was a different way? Do you have hope for the future? Are you hoping for change? What are you feeling these days? And I want you to take about 10 minutes and just write out your thoughts. There's no grade for this. There's no right answers or wrong answers. This is just you expressing yourself.
Wonder if the teachers knew I'd go from the school doc to triple platinum on a TikTok. Yeah.